What's going on, guys? Kalip's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is the beginner's guide to the Motorola Moto G Power 2021. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for this phone that you're going to want to know about when you're setting it up for the first time. To get more information about the device itself, be sure to check out my other videos of this phone on the channel. That being said, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the system navigation. Now you may have noticed, instead of the typical 3 buttons that you would see at the bottom of the phone in a typical Android device, this phone just has this little bar right here. That's because this phone has what's called gesture navigation. Let me show you how it works. So with gesture navigation, instead of pressing the home button to get to your home screen, all you need to do is swipe up. To go to your recent apps and close things out and all that, drag your finger up from the bottom. And in order to go back, slide your finger from one side of the phone to the other. And it doesn't matter which side to which side, you can do it left to right or right to left. It's going to do the same thing. Gesture navigation is really cool and all, but you might not like it, so I'm going to show you how to get back to the 3-button system that's on other Android devices. So we're going to go to Settings, System, Gestures, and System Navigation. Now we have the option to choose between gesture navigation and 3-button navigation. We're going to hit 3-button navigation, and that's going to bring back the 3 buttons that I'm sure many Android users are familiar with. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to customize your home screen. Now you can technically do some of this through the settings menu, but really all you need to do is press and hold a finger on the home screen itself just for a second, and this is going to show up. From these settings, you're going to be able to customize a lot on your home screen: widgets, wallpapers, styles. You can even go to the home settings and customize some things on here as well. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a screenshot. This is a pretty basic function, but there are actually 2 different ways to do this. The first way is to press and hold the power key and the volume down key at the same time. But there's also another way that's actually, believe it or not, a little bit more convenient and a lot cooler than that. So we're going to go to Settings, Display, Advanced, and 3-finger screenshot right here at the bottom. Once this feature is toggled on, all you have to do to take a screenshot is press and hold 3 fingers spread a little bit apart from each other on the screen, and it's going to take the screenshot. I think this is a much more convenient way to take a screenshot than having to change the positioning of the phone in your hand to hold the buttons. Now there's actually another way you can access these settings. It's a little weird. I don't know why they have it in 2 different places, but it is what it is. We're back in the main settings menu right now, and we're gonna go down to System, Gestures, and again, 3-finger screenshot is right here. I don't know why they did that, but it's good to know that there are 2 ways to do it. The next thing I'm gonna show you is how to customize your notifications. For me, this is a really big thing because I just can't stand getting a bunch of random notifications from apps I just don't care about. It bothers me a lot. So I'm going to show you how to prevent this. So we're going to go to Settings, Apps and Notifications, and hit Notifications right here. And now you're going to be able to see all the apps that have sent you notifications recently. And if you don't want to get notifications for any specific apps, then you can deselect them here. For example, we're gonna hit Google News here, and you can see this is off, so I will no longer be getting notifications on this phone from Google News. Another thing that goes hand in hand with notifications is sounds. Sounds can arguably be even worse than notifications, especially on these Motorola phones that have one of the most obnoxious notification sounds I've ever heard. Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to go to Settings, Sound, and as you can see, I have everything muted already. If you do like having certain notifications make sounds, like for example, an alarm does make a lot of sense. You can also change your notification sounds themselves. If you hit Advanced right here, go down a little bit, there's a phone ringtone. There's a default notification sound. Now this is if you get like a system update or text message, something like that. That's just so obnoxious to me. Some people might like it, but I really don't, which is why I have everything completely muted. And then there's an alarm sound. I had no idea what that was gonna be, but it's actually not as bad as I thought. If you're like me and hate getting sounds from everything, then you can always just mute all of this. Now, there's another thing that you might wanna do if you're in a situation where you really can't have your phone making noise and want to ensure that it doesn't. You can go back to these things like the ringtone, for example, and go up here and hit none. Be sure to hit OK, otherwise it's not going to apply. Now, with no ringtone, even if the sound somehow gets turned on by accident, it's still not going to make any noise. Now, I suggest you also make sure vibrate for calls is toggled on if you do decide to do this, because if it's not, then when you get a call, you won't get any notification, so you could easily have absolutely no idea someone's calling you. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to get your battery percentage on the status bar. So on the status bar, you can see the battery right here, but there's no percentage next to that icon unless you pull down the little quick menu. Then you'll see it. So I'm going to show you how to get that on the status bar at all times. We're going to go to settings, go to battery, and go to battery percentage, toggle that on. And now you're going to see it right up there. This is one of the few phones that actually has the battery percentage in the battery section instead of the display section under the status bar menu. So I think that's really cool. I think this is where the battery percentage setting should be, and I'm glad that this is where it is on this phone. The next thing I'm going to show you is the dark theme. Dark theme is really cool in my opinion, and a lot of people really like to use it. If you don't know what it is, it's probably easier for me to show you than to explain, so let's go. We're going to go to settings, display, advanced, and dark theme right here. We're going to toggle that on, and now we have the dark theme. I think this looks really good, but if you end up using it for a while and end up getting tired of it, you can always toggle it off as well. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen lock. So right now I have biometrics enabled, so I just use the fingerprint scanner, but you might also want to use a PIN, or what if you want to change your PIN to a password? I'm going to show you all of that. So we're going to go to settings. So Motorola's interface is different from other phones like Samsung's in that instead of having a screen lock section and a biometrics section, they have it condensed into one security section, which again, I really like this. I think this is how it should be. So we're gonna go here. And now if you don't have your PIN set up, you're gonna have to do that. So hit screen lock and it's gonna walk you through all of that. Now, if you wanna set up fingerprints and you have your PIN set up, then you can go to fingerprint right here. Once you enter your PIN, you're gonna be able to set up fingerprints. Now I pluralize that because you can actually set up multiple fingerprints. So one for your thumb, one for your index finger. You can do all your fingers if you want. You can also even have a separate user register their fingerprint so they can use the phone too. Face unlock is the same way. Once you go to face unlock, it's gonna have you put in your PIN and then walk you through the steps of registering your face. Now, if you want to change your screen lock, simply click screen lock, enter your PIN, and now you have the option between none, swipe, pattern, PIN, and password. I would say PIN is the most common these days. The pattern is a pretty outdated feature in my opinion. It used to be really popular back in the early 2010s, but now everybody's pretty much over it, especially now that we have fingerprint scanners. Passwords, in my opinion, are just overkill, especially if you have biometrics, but you always can if you want. Swipe and none are basically the same. I don't even really know what none does. I haven't checked and I'm probably not going to, but swipe is basically useless. So I do recommend using at least a pattern or a PIN. And remember, if you don't like typing stuff in, I don't either. So that's why we have face unlock in the fingerprint scanner. The next thing I'm gonna show you is the screen timeout. Now this is gonna be different for everybody, but I do suggest playing around with it early on and finding out which one works for you, because nothing's worse than the phone falling asleep on you when you're trying to do something, or the opposite, having the display stay on so long that it starts draining your battery. So let's go over it. We're gonna go to Settings, Display, Advanced, Screen Timeout right here. And now you see mine is set at 30 minutes for the sake of these videos, but you can go as little as 15 seconds and up to 30 minutes. So it's definitely up to you. I do suggest playing around with it and seeing which one works best for you because it's gonna be different for everybody. Now I'm gonna show you two different ways to access your camera faster than just opening the camera app. The first one is activated by default. You don't have to do anything for this, and that's simply double tapping the power key. That's gonna open up your camera right there. Now the second one is a little bit more unexpected, but once you try it a couple times, it's still really easy. So for this, we're gonna go to Settings, System, Gestures, and Quick Capture. Make sure that this feature is on, and once it is, you can activate your camera by going like this. I will say this does take a few tries to get used to. When I first heard of the feature and tried it for the first time, it didn't work out too well, but now it's just so easy that I can be anywhere on my phone and open my camera no problem. But that was my beginner's guide to the Motorola Moto G Power 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this guide useful as well. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.